So experiments in living chemistry. The first morning after my last day of 5th grade, Mom informed me that my summer vacation and girlhood were over. Me, reading A Wrinkle in Time in my room, hoping to pull a Meg Murray and tesseract to another planet. Mom, cursory knock while opening the door. Great news! You get to attend these summer enrichment seminars you enjoyed so much last year, and you can wear, she pointed with her thin, well-manicured finger at the second dresser drawer, your little bra. That was how she pronounced these words. Italicized, the final ah birthing in a slow motion. I ignored her. She smiled and shut the door, knowing we both knew that none of this news was great at all. I was going to be shuttled off to a glorified babysitting venue, and the 2 pink pop-up tents on my chest could no longer be ignored. I stared with great intent at my book, praying that Mrs. Who, Mrs. Which, and Mrs. Whatsit would come for me, after which Calvin O'Keefe would remove my glasses, see past my frizzy hair and braces to the real beautiful me, where my oddball quirks increased my charm. I pointedly avoided the drawer where the dreaded white eyelet garment lurked. Inside, straps crisscrossed to the apex of a tiny pink rose, cups padded with wisps of cotton to puff the nipple buds into shape. A training bra. The phrase conjured images of Wheaties box champions, teams of preteen girls racing, arms outstretched as they competed for Olympic breasts. The pink rose didn't fool me. I was in training for hell. The first day of my summer enrichment seminars, I lucked out. Mom enrolled in summer school, so Dad would be driving me. No way would Dad confront me about anything to do with undergarments. That morning, I insisted on wearing my yellow rain slipper to cover myself, even though it was June in Alabama. I'll freeze in there, I insisted. I had a point. Southerners, in retaliation to the heat, generally keep their interiors the temperature of a meat locker. Dad gave me a sideways glance but didn't argue. We drove in silence. I didn't even whine about why I had to attend school after school was just out. My parents were quick to enroll me in any activity that got me out of the house. I hated the constant shuttling about, and many of these so-called educational events were suspect. My go-to defense was the time I took baton twirling in a trailer. Once, just once, my mother had conceded that maybe that wasn't so great, and I had pounced on that admission like a trial lawyer, turning to Dad for help. Dad, it was a trailer, a trailer. All she did was sit there and yell at us while she ate McDonald's. Why can't I just stay at home? Dad sighed heavily and stared at the ground. Boy, when I was a kid, I wish I could have done all this great stuff. Dad had grown up in a cold, grimy Catholic orphanage in Buffalo, New York, and there was just no arguing with that. He had scrounged and strived so I could live the pampered life of a middle-class ingrate. Still, I'm guessing Dad never had the fancy strut in front of an ex-boll-weevil county queen who yelled, "Glimmer, little glowworm, glimmer," between bites of her Big Mac. All I'm saying is you're going to eat. You should bring enough for everyone. I was parked on the curb of Holt Elementary with a bologna sandwich and a Chronicle of Narnia stashed in my shorts. I filtered inside with the other nerds in Tuscaloosa County. We were handed a regimen ranging from life sciences to macrame and dutifully marched to our classrooms so we could become enriched, like flour. The seminars were for gifted children, those of us who had passed some 3rd grade Mensa quiz that made sure we never got to spend our summers like a normal kid watching TV. Our first activity of the day was dramatic arts, which was held in the gym. When I put on my slicker that morning, I counted on the usual Alabama indoor Arctic blast. The gym was a sauna. Within a minute, I had mortifying armpit stains, and removing the jacket wasn't an option. I waited in dread for one of the odd looks directed to become an outright accusation. At some point, I knew some loudmouth girl, there was always a loudmouth girl, would shout, "Why are you wearing that stupid jacket?" While everyone stared and I stammered through some lie. I shifted around, kept myself a moving target. To my relief, this teacher was the bossy kind who left no room for chit-chat. Her hair was albino blonde, drawn back in a severe bun. She wasn't old or young. She didn't wear makeup or speak with a southern accent. She said there was a special treat in store for all of us. We would get to perform Macbeth. She informed us she was a real live director from the Alabama Shakespeare Festival who was going to help us perform a version of the play. We tried to look impressed, even though we had no idea what she was talking about. "Shakespeare was a great playwright," shouted Norman Richards, a scrawny dweeblet who came up to my neck. Norman was a tow-headed philosophy professor's son with glasses held around his head by an elastic band. The director dutifully acknowledged Norman's superior knowledge, which fired the geek cadre into life. We were all used to being number one in our classrooms, but now all the number ones were gathered together. It was number one now. We didn't know anything about the great bard. We knew enough about school plays to know someone would get to be the star. With a heavy sigh, oh whoa, why had she agreed to this? The director handed out scripts and explained how things would be. There wasn't much time, and this wasn't how a theater was usually run, but she would make do. We were not to roughhouse around the stage props, which were very generously unloaded. Auditions would be held at the next meeting. The performance held in 2 weeks. It wasn't too hard to figure out that if the name of the play was Macbeth, then the female lead was Lady Macbeth. While the director paced and lectured, I took inventory of competition. These girls with bony limbs and wedged terry cloth onesies weren't of the sleek blow-dryer tribe at public school. One girl with a freckle-smeared face adjusted her scoliosis brace. Another bent to scratch her scabs. No gleaming tan tube-top cheerleaders here. I had a shot. The Norman kid poked my arm. A shot of panic ran through me. I had almost made it through the day unnoticed in my yellow jacket. Hey, let me tell you a secret, he said. I bent down. He kept his hand over his mouth, leaned into me, acknowledged. Our last enrichment of the day was in chemistry. Within a minute, we were all in the thrall of Miss Bessian, a college chemistry student with honey blonde hair and tan skin and a mesmerizing Aztec skirt. The despair of our lost summer vacation melted in a desire to merge with her orange blossom scent. She loved us each the best, we could tell. Miss Bessian gave us each a petri dish and a sterile cotton swab. We were instructed to lightly touch the surface, then lightly touch the agar and see what grew on the special meeting, just like real scientists. Being the enriched child I was, I gripped my swab and overanalyzed the situation. I had already bombed life science earlier that day. While everyone else oohed and awed over the paramecium flagella and their microscopes, I had faked fascination over a water bubble. The pressure of redemption made large. This was my chance to make visible the microscopic, to reveal an object's true nature. Everyone else seemed so confident as they ran around the room, dabbing the aquarium with a pencil sharpener, but every time I started to make a move, I froze. I mean, who really cared to reveal the inner spirit of a crayon? Then I thought of something I wanted to know more about. I snuck the swab into the bathroom, locked the door, pulled down my shorts, and performed a preteen version of a pap smear. I slipped back in the classroom, stealthily lifted the glass lid, touched the cotton in exactly the way I was instructed, and sealed the dish. Out, Dan Spot, out, I say. I practiced in my closet to escape apparent scrutiny. If I tried to add intensity, I only sounded shrill. Mostly, I sounded drab, put to shame by the dramatic skills of the housewife who wore those dirty rings on her husband's shirts before she discovered the delights of spring wash. As I tried to project how tender 'tis love the babe that milks me, I knew the word milks was gross somehow, causing me to fumble. Yet I persevered. My desire for the female lead was rooted in a long history of frustration. As an early puberizer, always tall for my age, I'd been assigned male parts in school plays. First grade, all the girls were sunflowers, except me. Tree. In the play about a cavity, I was the dentist. In Charlotte's Web, I played Fern's father, Mr. Avery. For my big moment, I got to waddle on stage in overalls, slop Wilbur, and shout, "That's one terrific pig." In our 5th grade production of Broadway musicals, I lip-synced Go Grease to Lightning in a mechanic suit. I was determined to break the chain of my dramatic roles in drag. I knew I didn't sound like a Scottish queen driven to psychosis, but the blah-blah of a Perry-Nuts character with a southern twang. Yet I'd experienced transformation again and again in my books, so technically the experience was plausible. The bright lights of the stage might inspire more than the inside of a closet. Everyone knew it took the pressure of a real challenge to forge greatness. One day I would be Megatron, whose stubborn nature defeated the evil it on the planet Camazotz.